Howdy, friend. Welcome back to the Feed Bandit podcast and your Texas First Outdoors tip of the day. So we're continuing on the Total Deer Hunter Manual, learning all the things you need to know about deer. And this starts with Skill 58, Get In on the Secret Rut. It's kind of a continuation from the previous tip of the day. Last fall, my father and I ignored the calendar that told us we were in the October lull and headed out to hunt a local farm. That evening, with our stands only about 400 yards apart, I watched a pair of giant bucks working a field of does just out of range, and my dad missed a chip shot at a Pope and Young 8-pointer. It was October 11th, but we enjoyed November-like action. Some time ago, I might have called this a freak occurrence, although research suggests that some does come into estrus about a month prior to the peak rut. I, like many hunters, assumed this was too scattered to be of much significance, but I started to change my mind 3 years ago when a taxidermist buddy called to tell me about a customer's 150 class buckshot on October 10th. The next fall, hunters brought 3 giant whitetails to his shop, all killed within 4 days at the same date. Those bucks had all been either chasing does or responding to rattling or calling. Along with similar anecdotes from other hunters, this convinced my father and me to hunt in early October that year. And we weren't disappointed. Of course, early breeding activity won't compare to the rutting peak, but it's definitely worth exploiting, especially since mature bucks seem to be the most active participants. It makes sense that these deer, which have the most breeding experience, are the ones competing for a small number of early estrus does. Start with the onset of the peak rut in your area and count backwards 28 days. If you don't know the timing, call your regional game agency and ask a biologist. For most hunters, this will be sometime around the first or second week of October, right in the middle of the so-called lull. Plan to hunt during the 3 or 4 day period surrounding that date. While a lot of other people sit at home assuming the hunting is too slow to bother with, you may get your shot at a monster. Hopefully you'll shoot a little straighter than my dad did. So hunt the October lull. Skill 59, Pinpoint early rut activity. Knowing that some of the biggest bucks are looking for love a month early is fine and dandy, but to take advantage you need to pinpoint this activity. The key is to find the first estrus does. To distinguish them from the rest of the herd, glass every doe you see and make note of those with the darkest stained tarsal glands. Also look for the biggest does. As fellow contributor Gerald Almy has written, quote, "Among humans, the dominant male often gets the cutest girl. Among whitetails, he gets the heaviest. The largest matriarch attracts the area's dominant buck because she comes into estrus earliest." So starting where these does like to feed, follow trails back to their bedding areas, typically grassy or bushy cover that grows eye-high to a bedded deer. Now move downwind of the spot and set up a stand to catch bucks cruising or bedding where they can get a good whiff of the first few hot does. This rutting action is not going to be widespread or easy to spot, so also keep an eye out for any sudden surge of rubbing and scraping near those feeding or bedding areas to tip you off. Also, keep a journal noting when and where you spot early rutting activity to help you pinpoint it in the future. You just might catch a monster thinking more about his love life than his hide weeks before the main event. And then here's a little tidbit on rub-urination. When a buck really wants to smell nice for the ladies, he urinates on his already stinky tarsal glands, creating a near-lethal cologne that makes Axe body spray smell like roses. Deer biologists call this behavior rub-urination or self-anointing, the latter of which is a survey of normal English speakers which voted the most ridiculous euphemism in deer hunting. I, like other normal English speakers, call it peeing all over yourself. Knowing about rub-urination does have some practical value for deer hunter. For example, some truly dedicated hunters will actually carry around a deer urine-doused tarsal gland taken from a killed buck in order to cover their own scent or to lure other deer close during the rut or both. But that said, the most important benefit of knowing about rub-urination is that it just makes some of our own rituals seem that much less weird. All right. Well, with that, I'm going to leave you with that Texas First Outdoor tip of the day, dealing with deer hunting still, because we're swinging through the Total Deer Hunter Manual. Yes, when this comes out, it may or may not be deer season when you're listening to this, but it never hurts to, touch up and learn as much as you possibly can, so you can take some of these skills into the next deer season when it comes around. So thank you for listening, and remember, check out feedbandit.com. You can go over there, and we got some new t-shirts out. We have some cool hats dealing with Texas First Outdoors. We have some nice polos that you can wear wherever you are, that have some good Texas First and some hunting themes, Texas First Outdoor themes. So please check them out. If you like something, well, grab you some. All right. Well, thanks so much for listening, and we'll catch you here on the next one. All right. You take care.